Hello, everyone. How are you doing? This is Daryl Guberman, CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. We've been involved with quality for 40 plus years. Our background ranges from aerospace, medical implants, medical materials, printing, and plastic distribution, where we dealt with every industry under the sun. We have Mr. David Calhoun here, the CEO of Boeing. I should say the CEO of the FAA. And you'll find out pretty soon why. Because we have snippet interview of him. We took 3 sections of the interview and replayed it 3 times so you can hear, without a shadow of a doubt, what he said about his regulator, the FAA. What I'm going to show you is that the FAA made Boeing the regulator. So you have Boeing as the FAA and you have the FAA. There is no regulation. And I'm going to show you just a little bit. I want to read this little note that I received from a gentleman, Joe. I won't tell you his last name. But he said, Boeing has a serious problem with quality since they turned over to business types and ignored and washed out the engineers that really understand what it takes to produce safe aircraft. Today, this video is about David Calhoun, CEO Boeing, talks about FAA being their regulator, when in 2009, Boeing became the FAA. And we're going to show you right now, real quick. You have ANSI. We have to show you this. We're not going to go into the whole litany about the Chinese infiltration, all the rest of that in 2015, and ANSI and ANAB, but we will say this. ANSI is a private, not-for-profit corporation that has both federal agencies and corporations on board. They've been around since the early 1900s. We're not going to go into the litany about how the IAF was handed over to a Chinese national in 2015, but they were handed over between 2015 and 21. A communist Chinese national sat on the International Accreditation Forum watching over companies like Lockheed Martin. Lockheed's good. 2009, Lockheed Martin gets hacked by China, taking the F-35. 2012, a division of United Technologies, Sikorsky Aircraft, gets hacked by China. In 2015, Lockheed Martin goes to buy them. $9 billion, I think. That's a hell of a lot of money for a raped organization. And they were. And if you didn't like that term, that's a quality term. Yeah, not too good quality. But anyway, in the Connecticut Mirror, it stated, with China's okay, Lockheed Martin closes in on the purchase of Sikorsky aircraft. We had 4 representatives here. You had Chris Murphy, Jim Himes, Rosa DeLauro, and Richard Blumenthal all compliment Lockheed for working with the international regulator, Communist China. And when you dig the skin back of those 4 people, you'll find that they sit on the disbursements of Lockheed Martin, where you have 50 states getting bribed by Lockheed Martin. I call it bribed. Every one of the politicians, Democrats and Republicans, get money from these people. Let's continue on. So this video is about Boeing. This is about Boeing, and this is about how they became the FAA. And it's very true. You have the FAA sitting on ANSI right over by Boeing, as you can see. So they're both sitting together, and I'm going to read this to you, and then I'm going to let David Calhoun answer it himself. And you tell me if Boeing is not a regulator. And here it is. I'm going to read this to you totally, and then I'm going to play his interview, and that'll be it. I'm done, because you're going to find out that it is true. Boeing is the regulator, and he lied, saying our regulator is making up 100. I don't want to go in. I don't want to spoil it for you. In 2009, Boeing gets granted autonomy from the FAA. The FAA increased the authority of Boeing's commercial airlines division to self-certify its own aircraft. That's a no-no. Boeing is set to officially, by the way, David Calhoun was on the board of Boeing in 2009. Also, you have Patrick Shanahan, the CEO of Spirit Aerospace Systems. 2009, he was employed with Boeing at the time. So the FAA increased the authority of Boeing's commercial airlines division to self-certify its own aircraft. Boeing is set to officially switch to the new system dubbed Organizational Designation Authorization on August 31st, 2009. After a training period, according to the Seattle Times, authority extended to Boeing under the new system allows Boeing employees to perform tasks on behalf of the FAA that include oversight of testing and product standards, along with certification of aircraft technologies and new aircraft designs. Boeing already had in-house inspection programs, and much of Boeing's inspection work is already delegated to FAA-appointed in-house company inspectors who report most of their findings to the FAA through Boeing. The new system extends the authority. The FAA will monitor Boeing's employees through the Boeing Aviation Safety Oversight Office, which will review Boeing's own written reports and audit Boeing's internal inspection system. The FAA BASCO will start with a staff of 8, of which 2 will be engineers, and will grow to a staff of roughly 30 as Boeing employees take on more responsibilities. Currently, Boeing's inspection work is completed by some 400 in-house company inspectors, according to the Times. And the worst part about it is that Boeing, on their supplier portal, has the American National Standards Institute, American National Accrediting Board, as the designated accreditation body or international equivalent you will find. Now, I'm going to play Mr. Calhoun's response. You tell me. Remember, FAA delegated Boeing employees as FAA representatives.
Speculate, but I will say this: the work that our regulator, in this case the FAA, has been doing to inspect the situation and create a procedure and a protocol for the airlines to go out and inspect each and every one of the airplanes, 100% of them, and make certain that the work that our regulator, in this case the FAA, has been doing to inspect the situation and create a procedure and a protocol for the airlines to go out and inspect each and every one of the airplanes, 100% of them, and make certain they're in. But I will say this: the work that our regulator, in this case the FAA, has been doing to inspect the situation and create a procedure and a protocol for the airlines to go out and inspect each and every one of the airplanes, 100% of them, and make certain.
So, you know who the regulator is? Boeing. Boeing is inspecting Boeing again because the FAA gave them authority as FAA. So there is no regulation. Do you see that? Do you agree with that? Put it in the description. My name is Daryl Guberman, 203-556-1493, or Daryl, D-A-R-Y-L, TQRS at yahoo.com. Joe, I thank you for the comment you made below my video and the others that are coming in and the calls that I am getting. We sent this information that we have to 11 different news outlets. We're waiting to hear from them, and we look forward to that. And I thank you.